Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring to their knees. Thank for their disease. Just like a weed. It is muggy. It is cloudy. And it seems as though summer is really starting to heat up. But I'll tell you what's even more hot than muggy New Jersey weather. It's the suburbs of New Jersey, because we are rocking, we are rolling. And in case y'all haven't realized, it's Saturday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to the greatest fucking show on earth, streaming live on 4 different platforms across 6 different accounts. And the month of June is about to get even hotter, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, shit. Do you smell that? Do you know what that is? Oh, I'm going to tell ya what that is. That right there is the smell of pure fucking excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, June 3rd, 2023. Lots of good stuff, man. Lots of good stuff. Because on Saturday afternoon, this is the place to be. And I see we got Super AJ Styles, Nick. We got Peanuts. We got the Final Horse. We got the Shooter. And we got Dee Dee all watching, because they're coming for their weekly dose of DJ Shizzle Dizzle. Plenty of good stuff coming to you guys on this episode of the Lightning Flash Update. As of course, thank you everyone for stopping by and taking time out of your day to hang with your boy. We got plenty of news that we're going to talk about, including WWE reportedly pushed for Bray Wyatt to bring back The Fiend. Oh man, I wonder why. And I wonder who could have done that. We also got news on 2 injuries suffered at Double or Nothing. And shockingly enough,
It did not take place in Anarchy in the Arena, nor did it take place in the ladder match or the unsanctioned match. Crazy to think. Crazy to think. Gunther has his next challenger for the Intercontinental Championship. We could be set for 2 more NXT main roster call-ups, and Vince McMahon is making changes to WWE television remotely. And with that, I say, if anyone still thinks that Triple H is in charge after this show, you are a fucking retard. I said what I said. You don't like it? You can make like your mother and suck my dick. But before we get into what we're going to get into, as per usual, everyone must know the drill when it comes to the Lightning Flash update. Let me put up this ticker right here. Let me go to the tickers, and we're going to click that right there. If you see it right there, scrolling along the bottom, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. Once again, that is at HistoryMakerDJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. You can add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please make sure that you send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure, if you have not already done so, go check out the rewind for AEW Double or Nothing 2023 with Robert of Philly Sports Talk Podcast. Very good show. Terrible fucking crowd. Really brought the show down a few pegs. Please also go check out my vlog from ISPW Garrett Mountain Mania, which of course was last Saturday. The vlog went up this past Wednesday, May 31st. We had some great action outdoors in the mountain, right by Woodland Park. We saw a new ISPW World Heavyweight Champion known as Rick Recon. We had Adam Payne taking on Crowbar in what was a very hard-hitting match. So if you want to go catch all the highlights from that, that link is in the description. And on top of all that, my main man, Mitch Kofsky, decided to stop by the Eye of the Storm, and he and myself, we reviewed NXT BattleGround, which surprisingly was a very good overall wrestling show. It felt a little rushed. It felt like they could have given a couple of matches a little bit more time, but nevertheless, it was a very good wrestling show and a lot better than I could have anticipated. And I guess that is a victory for NXT in 2023, considering that the brand is absolute shit. We got ourselves the vlog for ISPW Brawl for the Bulldogs coming to you guys next Wednesday. That will be next Wednesday, June 7th at 7 p.m. We had some great action from Butler, New Jersey last night. I did not tweet for Rampage, nor did I tweet for SmackDown, because I was in Butler, New Jersey, watching some great ISPW action. Rick Recon defended the world title for the first time against Crowbar. Tommy Dreamer took on the Shining Star, Ray Calitri. And GKM, Tri-State Champion right now, man, he is killing it. He is absolutely killing it. He's got everything that it takes to make it. The guy's a fucking stud, and everyone needs to get on his level. GKM right now, GKM and Rick Recon, those two individuals are the standard bearers. GKM right now, he is doing God's work with the Tri-State title, and he recently defended the title against his former partner, Leo Sparrow, last night in Butler, New Jersey, in what was probably the best match out of the entire night. We got ourselves ISPW Total-A-Day. That is going to be next Saturday. It's going to be in the streets for Total-A-Day, and the show will start at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Rick Recon will be defending the World Championship against Vargas. And if he makes it past Vargas, Rick Recon will go into West Milford on July 7th. West Milford, man, July 7th, West Milford. It is going to be Rick Recon finally settling his rivalry with Bull James for the world title in a dog collar match. So I will be there. I cannot miss that show. It's going to be good. It is going to be hard-hitting. It is going to be entertaining as all hell. So if you are in the New Jersey area, please go to the ISPW Facebook page and get all the information there if you wish to attend the event. We are 10 minutes into the stream. People, if you haven't liked the stream, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. When you come on in, you got to make sure that you are liking the stream. Like the stream, whether you're watching it on the Facebook group, whether you're watching it on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, the Hardcore Sports Twitch, the Hardcore Sports Twitter, my Twitter, or my YouTube channel. It is very vital that you like the stream and you share it out on all platforms of social media. I'm talking about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. Please go and share it out and get as many people in here as humanly possible. Of course, when you do so, if you are watching on YouTube, whether it be my channel or the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. We are trying to grow. We are trying to expand. We are doing everything in our power to make sure that we are the #1 brand in all of sports analytics, that being Hardcore Sports. We are so close to 700 subs. So please subscribe to Hardcore Sports if you can, and do it for Jeffrey Turner. Thoughts and prayers go out to Jeffrey Turner, his mother, his father, all of his family members, all of his friends, and anyone that was antiquated, associated, and deeply affiliated with Jeffrey Turner. He unfortunately passed away last weekend at the age of 38. So my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that was deeply affected by Jeffrey Turner's loss. I did not know him too well, but he was always very, very kind. He was always very, very down to earth, and he always treated me with the utmost respect. And I really wish that I could have collaborated with him one more time before he inevitably passed away. It's something that no one can ever prepare for, but my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that was deeply affected by this tragic loss. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And when you do, you got to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, a baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. You know why? Because the only time that you will get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here and this beautifully crafted pompadour. I recently just got a haircut and I am looking scintillating. So we're going to light it up right here. Earl Cole's not in the chat yet, but I'm sure he'll go back and rewatch this anyway because he loves it when I break this out. This beautifully crafted magical ace comb. And we're going to light it up right here on the stream on the LFU, the greatest fucking show on earth, with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like a hot crispy chicken sandwich right out of the oven with melted American cheese and Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. I am just so good. I'm the tastiest snack in the IWC, and everybody wants a piece of the Storm's Meister. Everybody, don't act like you don't. Don't act like you don't. The ladies love DJ Storms. Anyway. Enough of the chit-chat, enough of the self-brand promotion, the advertisements. We are going to get straight into the news, rumors, and reports, and then we're going to review 3 weekly shows. Yes, I said 3 because I did not watch SmackDown. I was able to catch Rampage Championship Friday, which was probably the best Rampages of the year. Probably the best Rampage of the year. So we're going to go over that as well as Dynamite and Monday Night Raw. But let's start off with a report coming out of Double or Nothing, shall we? PW Insider has confirmed that MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the AEW World Champion, suffered an injury to his forearm when he delivered the top rope powerbomb spot to Darby Allin, and Darby Allin actually landed on MJF's arm. MJF, of course, did the top rope powerbomb spot in tribute to Chris Candido, in which Chris Candido called it the Blonde Bombshell, and his forearm was taped up during the AEW Double or Nothing post-media scrum. Now, some people, not everyone, most people kind of brush this off. Some people were a little fearful. Some people were a little scared that this could have been disastrous for MJF. I don't really think it's as disastrous because at the end of the day, MJF, he doesn't wrestle all that often. I don't even think that he's going to be wrestling on Dynamite over the summer. If he does, he'll probably wrestle once. he'll probably wrestle once in July. If they do a world title match between himself and somebody else in July, I'm not sure who. I'm really not sure who. It could honestly be anyone. But right now, what MJF is saying about how they're running out of competition, they are true. Unless they're going to do Adam Cole. Now, I don't think it's the right time to do Adam Cole. I don't think that's the right time. But we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. I was actually thinking to myself, since Darby Allin took the pinfall at Double or Nothing, that they could probably do a number one contenders match between Sammy and Jungle Boy, and then the winner of that match will face MJF on Dynamite sometime between now and All In, or now and All Out. That's what I was thinking. Now, they could still do that, but as of right now, it seems as though MJF is moving on from the four pillars. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but if you're asking me, I would not mind seeing another MJF versus Jungle Boy match one-on-one if they want to do a number one contenders match between Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara and have Jungle Boy win that and fight MJF before MJF gets to All In and All Out. I'm not sure who he's going to face then. Could be Adam Cole, could be Kenny Omega, could be Chris Jericho, could be CM Punk. We don't know. All I know is that MJF is not losing that championship until next year. That's all I know. But I am not too concerned about MJF's injury. Depending on how severe it is, which I don't think it's that severe, I think that MJF is going to pretty much take the month of June off from professional wrestling, and he will be back in action sometime in July, and he'll do a little interim title defense before he gets to one of the big events going down on AEW towards the end of the summer. But right now, MJF did suffer an injury to his forearm, but I do not believe that it is that serious. One injury, however, that could be serious is Jeff Hardy. While speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer speculated that Jeff Hardy suffered an injury to his knee when he fell off the top rope. Boozer Raslin, aka Better Wrestling Experience, I'm like going off. Boozer Wrestling, he dropped an exclusive on who Gunther's next challenger is, but we'll talk about that in a minute. As far as Jeff Hardy's knee injury or supposed knee injury when he fell off the top, Jeff Hardy did finish the match, and the fact that he did finish the match and the injury kind of happened halfway through the match, and Jeff Hardy continued to wrestle for another 5-6 minutes, I don't think it's as serious as one would expect. We haven't really heard too much coming out of that match. It really wasn't anything. It was probably the most insignificant match on the entire show. That's why it was put on the pre-show. But at the end of the day, man, Jeff Hardy, he's been away from the ring for a year. He's been away from the ring for a year, and botches will happen. Ring rust is real. Ring rust is indeed real, and Jeff Hardy, unfortunately, suffered the effects of ring rust. There's really nothing more that you can do. Now, I'm not saying that he should hang it up and he should stop. He's not going to stop. Not yet. He's not going to stop until he closes out their career, the Hardy Boys' career, on their terms, and then they're going to transition into backstage roles. But as of right now, again, botches will happen. It was a terrible-looking botch, and if anything, the match really wasn't anything special. If you were to skip a match at Double or Nothing, I'd probably say skip the buy-in match. It didn't do anything. It was a decent little trios match, but again, nothing to invest your time in long term. This storyline with Matt Hardy and Ethan Page has really been lackluster, and that's putting it lightly. That's kind of putting it lightly. But look, Jeff Hardy, man, he's going to have ring rust. It's real. Unless you're someone like an AJ Styles, who AJ Styles is just above and beyond the rest. AJ Styles didn't showcase any ring rust, which I'm actually shocked about. But that was the longest time that AJ Styles has ever been away from the ring. Jeff Hardy has spent longer periods away from the ring, and the longer you spend away from the ring, the more ring rust that you're going to have. Jeff Hardy has suffered numerous amounts of major injuries. He's been off of wrestling for numerous DUIs, and he's been out of the world of pro wrestling because of substance abuse and everything in between. So, of course, Jeff Hardy is going to have more ring rust than someone like an AJ Styles, who was only out of the ring the longest 5 months. But reportedly, he suffered an injury to his knee when he fell off the top rope, off that slip. I'm not sure how severe it is. We're going to have to wait and see, but he finished the match, And I'm guessing that's a good sign. I'd probably say Jeff's probably going to have to take a few weeks off at most. But I'm not sure where he goes from here. He was looking fine in the ring up until that botch. Ring rust is real. Botch is going to happen. What are you going to do? Let's talk about Gunther's next challenger for the Intercontinental Championship. Reported by Boozer Wrestling or Better Wrestling Experience. On his private Twitter account, Boozer Wrestling, a.k.a. Better Wrestling Experience, reported that Gunther's next challenger for the IC title is set to be none other than the original bro, Matt Riddle. Now, I do not have a single issue with this whatsoever. Matter of fact, this right here is probably the best possible opponent for Gunther going into SummerSlam. Matt Riddle has actually displayed a more serious-like attitude ever since he came back from his suspension and he needed to go through rehab because he was abusing substances. I'm not sure what the substance was. It was never elaborated upon, but at the end of the day, that's not our business. But I've definitely noticed that Matt Riddle has toned down the goofiness. He's toned down the over-accentuation of the bro and the marijuana jokes, which I'm very happy about. And seeing how great Gunther has been and how much more serious Matt Riddle has been, this is going to be a great clash of styles. But the one thing that I really do hope is that they don't blow it off at Money in the Bank. This is a SummerSlam match. And as far as I see it, there is no bigger match for SummerSlam other than Gunther and Matt Riddle for the Intercontinental Championship. Matt Riddle's not going to win, but it's going to be a great showcase for him and Gunther. Moving on here, we got ourselves a report from Cultaholic. And Cultaholic reported that WWE could be set to call up some more NXT talents. Following their losses at NXT BattleGround, Braun Breaker and the Creed Brothers could be set for some main roster call-ups. I see Wrestling with Savage in the chat right now, and you are right, Savage. That new title is absolute dog shit. It's like Triple H created the Big Gold, and Vince McMahon, he created the new Undisputed Championship. It looks fucking terrible. Looks absolutely terrible. I'm actually glad that I did not watch SmackDown and I instead decided to go spend my time in Butler, New Jersey at ISPW Brawl for the Bulldogs. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, Braun Breaker and the Creed Brothers could be set for main roster call-ups. There's a part of me that's actually wondering why they didn't just call these guys up in the draft. Now, I understand the proper NXT send-off. I understand that you needed to get the Creed Brothers in there with Gallus, so that way you could get Gallus through another pay-per-view. And then, of course, this feud with Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, it's actually, the heel turn gave the feud life. The heel turn gave the feud life. It gave the feud more intrigue. And heel Braun Breaker is a hell of a lot better than babyface Braun Breaker. And on top of that, Braun and Carmelo actually gave us a better match than what they gave us back at NXT Stand and Deliver. However, again, it does raise the question, why didn't you just call these three guys up in the draft? Either way, that's done and over with. But Braun Breaker and the Creeds, they will fit perfectly on the main roster. Braun Breaker has done such a great job with this new heel gimmick. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw it out there right now. The last 2 months of Braun Breaker's heel character, that was better than his entire NXT Championship title reign. I'm throwing it out there. Some may disagree, some may agree. Either way, the heel character for Braun Breaker just comes off so natural. And the Creed Brothers, they have evolved so much from when we first saw them 2 years ago. They were green as shit. And they evolved into probably one of the best tag teams to come out of NXT. That's not really saying much because NXT's tag team division is shit. But at the end of the day, they have morphed into a great tag team. The question is, how will they be booked on the main roster? I don't know. But the Creed Brothers and Braun Breaker are more than ready for the main roster. And Braun Breaker, he would be a great heel on SmackDown in the mid-card for the U.S. Championship. From there, I got a report on why AJ Styles was on Monday Night Raw and whose call it was. According to Wrestling Inc., AJ Styles making a Raw appearance was a Vince McMahon call. Oh, you don't say. You don't fucking say, Wrestling Inc. Man, I didn't know that. All you need to do is watch the fucking show. You know what's fucking pathetic? You know what's fucking ridiculous? Triple H said that this draft was going to be game-changing. This draft was going to be, a draft that shakes the foundation of WWE right to its core, right? Meanwhile, we've gotten the same shit that we've gotten with every other draft, but now it's actually become worse. When they were ignoring the rules of the draft before WrestleMania, things were actually a hell of a lot better. I was actually a little bit hopeful that considering they were ignoring the draft rules before WrestleMania, I was actually a little hopeful that they were going to actually end the draft. But no, of course not. You got to keep the draft because Fox and USA want separate rosters, but yet you got Monday Night Raw superstars appearing on SmackDown and SmackDown stars appearing on Monday Night Raw. And we have had at least one individual from the opposite brand appearing on the other brand every week since the draft. Every week since the draft. And now there's reports of AJ Styles getting a character change and potentially fighting Rollins again in a rematch at Money in the Bank. Which again, listen, after their match at Night of Champions, I would have no problem with that. But at the end of the day, you are breaking the draft rules yet again. You break the draft rules each and every single fucking week, and you're pretty much making everything that you did seem like a complete waste of fucking time. I don't think people realize the more that they continue to just break the draft rules on a weekly basis, the more and more people are going to question, why the fuck did you even have a draft? Dave LaGreca even came out and said, why even have a draft? Why even have a draft? Draft should just fucking end. It's fucking ridiculous. Boozer Razzling, a.k.a. Better Wrestling Experience. Again, he dropped a report that actually ended up coming true this week. Boozer Wrestling, a.k.a. Better Wrestling Experience, reported that Mustafa Ali actually wanted to take a trip down to NXT to have a run and help out the young talent. This past Tuesday on NXT, following NXT BattleGround, he indeed did make an appearance helping Tyler Bate and Wes Lee fight off Joe Gacy. Now, of course, we saw Baron Corbin also appear on NXT, which is a complete fucking letdown. I don't understand how anyone's going to give a fuck about Baron Corbin on NXT, unless they bring back the Lone Wolf gimmick. But Baron Corbin, he's already fighting an uphill battle. After the last 5 years worth of damage. Ever since he got rid of the Lone Wolf character, and ever since he shaved his head, he has been one of the worst acts in the industry. However, Ali is a different story. Ali has easily been one of the most underrated individuals in WWE over the course of the last 5-6 years. He was great on 205 Live. And I even said it myself, coming out of that match with Gunther at Night of Champions, it's almost been criminal. It's almost been fucking criminal how Ali has been treated ever since coming up from 205 Live, being put on SmackDown. He has been virtually a glorified enhancement talent. And he deserves a hell of a lot better than that. Ali has the potential to be a megastar for years to come. Now that he's on NXT with this current crop of talent, you got Wes Lee, you got Tyler Bate, you got Dragon Lee in there, you got Noam Dar, you got Carmelo Hayes, you got Dijak, you got Ilya Dragunov, you got plenty more individuals as well coming up through the rankings. You got a lot, Tony D'Angelo as well, Joe Coffey, Wolfgang. There's a lot of people down there that Ali's going to mesh very well with. Eddie Thorpe down there too. Plenty of other individuals. So Mustafa Ali on NXT, this is going to be great for Ali. This is going to be a career rejuvenation for Ali. Ali has never had the opportunity to truthfully break out and show us what he can really do coming out of 205 Live. And they fucking wasted him at every single twist and turn. Now that he's on NXT, the door has opened for Mustafa Ali. Think about the possibilities for Ali. He could take on Wes Lee. He could take on Carmelo Hayes. He could take on Noam Dar. He could challenge for any one of the championships down there in NXT. Hell, he could be the one that ends up winning the North American title and ending Wes Lee's reign. Maybe he's the one that beats Carmelo Hayes and sends Carmelo Hayes to the main roster. One thing is for sure, I do believe that on NXT, Mustafa Ali is going to have a hell of a lot more freedom than he had on the main roster. Ali on NXT is going to be a great thing for him, and if it gives me a reason to watch the show, I don't have an issue with it, even though he's fighting an uphill battle, but this is a great move. From there, I got a report regarding Jade Cargill and her plans following her loss at Double or Nothing. According to Fightful Select, Jade Cargill is actually set to take some time off and return with a personality shift down the road. Now, I'm not really sure what a personality shift means. I'm not sure if she's going to get over as a babyface now. I'm not sure if she's going to take upon a new gimmick. I'm not sure if she's going to be a little bit more serious. I'm not sure if she's going to be maybe a little bit more amped up than what she was. Because the character that she was playing, listen, it was a fine character for what she had, but it really wasn't getting over in the way that the people wanted it to get over. At least management wanted it to get over. Now, Jade was never supposed to hold the title for this long. I firmly believe that she was supposed to lose the championship well before she lost the championship. She was supposed to lose the championship at All Out last year. But Kris Statlander unfortunately got injured. Now Kris Statlander is the TBS champion, and she is doing God's work right now. And it's only been a week. But Kris Statlander is absolutely fucking killing it right now. And I could not be more happy for Kris Statlander. It is going to be very interesting to see what Kris Statlander does. But as far as Jade goes, I'm not really sure what this personality shift is going to entail. But Jade Cargill taking some time off, it's going to do her good. It's going to do her good because I really believe that people have gotten sick of Jade Cargill and they are looking to get some new blood in the division, considering Jade Cargill has been virtually pushed to the moon as the TBS champion. She was 60-0 to start off her career. She's the longest reigning champion in AEW's history thus far, which of course will be broken by MJF in due time. But as of right now, Jade Cargill is the longest reigning champion, and I do believe that people are looking for someone different. They're looking for something new and something fresh. So if anything, I think taking the summer off, and hell, maybe even taking the fall off, I do believe that that is going to be very beneficial for Jade Cargill. And she is getting a little better, but I do believe that working on her craft and staying in in-ring shape outside of television, that's definitely going to help her in the long run too. I'll tell you what's not going to help anything. I'll tell you what's actually going to be a detriment going forward is Trish Stratus. Not because I don't like Trish Stratus, just because her presence on television actually makes the show worse. And according to PW Insider, Trish Stratus will be appearing on Monday Night Raw going forward regularly. They stated, and I quote, Trish Stratus is set to appear regularly on Raw moving forward. Stratus will be appearing weekly as often as possible. Listen. I respect what Trish Stratus has done throughout her career, but if you have been watching Trish Stratus over the course of the last month and a half, 2 months, and you've paid attention closely, you would understand that Trish Stratus has not done anything to benefit WWE in the long run. I'm sorry, she hasn't. Nothing has felt important with Trish Stratus. Matter of fact, it's actually a little sad watching her go out there and struggle to find the words and struggle to actually make them come off genuine. She doesn't come off as a genuine heel. She doesn't come off as genuine, period. She almost seems like she's afraid. She's afraid to cut a promo. Now, granted, the match with Becky Lynch at Night of Champions was probably the best women's match out of the 3 matches on the show. That much I will say. But a decent match, And the inclusion of Zoe Stark is not going to be enough for me to be okay with Trish Stratus being on television. I'm sorry if that pisses you off, but I'm going to say it again, and I will continue to say it. Unless Trish Stratus is waiting for me at home in my bed wearing nothing at all but the cowboy hat, I don't give a shit about Trish Stratus. I don't. Matter of fact, it's detrimental to have her on the show. Meanwhile, you're not putting any effort into Candice LeRae and Nikki Cross and Tegan Knox and Shayna Baszler and Shotzi and all these other women that have been there full time, that have been waiting for an opportunity, that were once great in NXT, and then Vince McMahon decided to shit all over it because I didn't create that, pal, and if I didn't create it, it's shit. It is absolutely pathetic. It's pathetic. And yet you wonder why women's wrestling right now is not taken seriously. Because if the biggest wrestling company in the world is not going to take women's wrestling seriously, and they're going to put Trish Stratus on the show over everyone else, why should the rest of the fan base and the rest of the industry take it seriously? It is a trickle-down effect. Now, I appreciate Tony Khan and AEW because they're at least trying. They got the championships on the right women, and they're putting the right women on television. Toni Storm, Saraya, Ruby Soho, Britt Baker, Sheeta, Chris Statlander. They're putting the right women on television, and I appreciate that. But again, it's a trickle-down effect from WWE. Ever since Ronda Rousey left her first run around, the women's division and the women's wrestling industry as a whole has just been blah. No one's given a shit about it. But yet some people want to tell me that Triple H is in charge. Not a fucking chance. And we're going to get into that a little bit later when I talk about Vince McMahon making remote changes to Raw and SmackDown. Boy, I'm going to have a field day with that shit. I got a report from Wrestling Observer Radio. There was a rumor going around that Brock Lesnar would be set to feud with Seth Rollins after he gets done with Cody Rhodes. Seeing as Lesnar can't challenge Roman anymore, challenging Rollins would make sense because there's no clause that says Lesnar can't challenge for the World Heavyweight title. However, Meltzer stated on the Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE is not planning on having Lesnar feud with Rollins after the program with Cody is over. Now, I am very, very thankful for that. However, I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. I really don't think we're out of the woods just yet. Because here's the thing. If Gunther is on a collision course for SummerSlam against Matt Riddle, and Rollins is fighting AJ at Money in the Bank, the Judgment Day has been mixing it up a bit with Rollins, so maybe we might have some altercations with the Judgment Day and Seth Rollins. But then Cody, let's say Cody's in Money in the Bank. If Cody fights Roman at SummerSlam and Gunther fights Matt Riddle, where is that going to leave Brock Lesnar? Now, truth be told, I would not put Brock Lesnar on the card at all. I've been saying it since the feud with Bobby Lashley ended. I would legit pay Brock Lesnar to sit out the rest of his contract. The man is fucking terrible. He sucks. He's lazy. He's a fucking bum. He does not give a shit about the industry, and ever since he came back in August of 2021, he has been easily one of the worst acts on TV. Why? Because he doesn't put effort into what he does. This has been his worst run with the company ever. Ever since the match with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2022, outside of that, everything that Brock Lesnar has done in this recent run since coming back 2 years ago has been absolute shit. It's been shit. So why would you want Brock Lesnar in any program, on any show, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, no matter what? Why would you want Brock Lesnar on television, period, based off of how terrible he's been? But I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I do not think at all that Brock Lesnar is going to be completely out of the question. I don't think that Brock Lesnar is going to be completely out of the question to fight Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Until we get the confirmation of who Rollins is fighting at SummerSlam, and it's not Brock Lesnar, I think that Brock Lesnar could very well be on the table to fight Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. You could do Finn Balor. But I mean, how many times have we seen Finn Balor and Seth Rollins on WWE TV? I would love to see Damian Priest get the world title match. Yeah, he'll lose. But at the end of the day, that would abso-fucking-lutely elevate Damian Priest. Look at what happened at Backlash with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. You're going to tell me that Damian Priest was not elevated after that match? Even in a loss, Damian Priest's stock rose to new heights in that match with Bad Bunny. Who's to say Seth Rollins and a world title match at SummerSlam, even though he would lose, who's to say that a world title match at SummerSlam wouldn't do the same thing that Bad Bunny did for Damian Priest? Now, they could do that, but you see, that's a foreign language to WWE because Damian Priest is a new talent. And Damian Priest, he's a hot, fresh, young star that has not had the proper success that we know he should be having in the WWE. And you already know WWE. Do you think they trust new stars? You think that they're going to trust Damian Priest in a world title match against Seth Rollins? Of course not. As far as I'm concerned, Damian Priest, he's the furthest away from getting a world title match against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam because WWE is allergic to building new stars. WWE is allergic to giving us fresh matches. WWE is allergic to giving us the stars that we actually want to see in the main event. So at the end of the fucking day, Brock Lesnar, he's not out of the equation. Even though Meltzer is saying no, and I believe him, I don't know. What Lesnar's saying is probably correct. What Meltzer's saying is probably correct, but plans could change. I don't know. I really think that Brock Lesnar could very well be a top-tier candidate to fight Rollins at SummerSlam, and we're all going to be sighing. We're all going to be sighing, saying, "Here we go again," because that's all they know. They always go back to Brock Lesnar. Bray Wyatt, easily the biggest creative failure of the modern era, maybe in all of WWE history, and it's not because of him, it's because of how terrible he has been booked. Cultaholic reported that WWE reportedly pushed Bray Wyatt to revive the Fiend persona after they were not overly fond of the Pitch Black match at the Royal Rumble. They didn't feel that his new persona was as good as The Fiend. Wyatt has since been off TV since February of this year with an illness, and he has not been seen or heard of since he left towards the end of February, right in the middle of his program with Bobby Lashley heading into WrestleMania, which was then scrapped. Let me take a sip of my ice water. I'm sweating my fucking balls off in here. We need to fucking turn up the cool air in here. I got central air and I forgot to turn up the fucking cool air before I came on here live. And I gotta work out later, so I'm gonna be sweating even more. Swear to God, man. Probably one of the worst things about the summer is how much I fucking sweat. And I'm just sitting here. I'm not a fucking 600-pound slob. I'm 150 pounds. I'm just sitting here and I'm sweating my ass off. Where do we fucking start with this? First of all, WWE was not overly fond of the Pitch Black match at the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, who fucking produced that match? The Tooth Fairy? The Easter Bunny? Santa Claus? Who the fuck produced this match? Did you hire fucking Ben Stiller from Hollywood to fucking produce this shit? Did you hire fucking Slipknot to come in and produce this shit? Did you hire James Wan, the creator of the Conjuring and the Insidious series? Did you hire him to come in and produce this shit? No! You produced it! It was WWE management that produced it. Who was the individual that had everything laid out for this pitch black match? Who? It's Vince. Who's the guy that only gave it 5 minutes? Vince. Listen, I am no rocket scientist, but the last time I checked, I don't think that a 5-minute match, I don't think that a 5-minute fucking match is really going to come off overly fond. But then again, this is what Vince did. Vince McMahon booked it to only go 5 minutes. Bray Wyatt didn't book it himself. You think LA Knight booked it? You think fucking Al Pacino came in and fucking booked that shit? Who the fuck booked it? You are not overly fond of it, but yet you booked it. But WWE will never take responsibility for their own shortcomings. No, you see, if WWE took responsibility for their own shortcomings, it would be like having a heart attack to them. It would be like having a fucking heart attack. You're not overly fond of the pitch black match at the Royal Rumble. Meanwhile, you produced it, thus proving WWE will never take responsibility for their own failures, and they're going to blame someone else. They blamed Bray Wyatt. Meanwhile, it was their fault. Then they pushed him to bring back The Fiend. The Fiend was dead. The Fiend was dead. The Fiend has been dead. The Fiend should have never been revived. The Fiend was killed by you. This is what I fucking hate about WWE. They never take responsibility for themselves. Never. WWE pushed Wyatt to bring back The Fiend. WWE got involved and they got their hands over Bray Wyatt's gimmick and Bray Wyatt's character, and they fucking ruined it. Then you started seeing the Firefly Funhouse on television. You think that Bray Wyatt wanted to bring that shit back? No! Bray Wyatt wanted to take his character in a different direction. And by the way, this goes hand in hand with Fightful's report. Vince McMahon is now making weekly changes to WWE television remotely, over Zoom, over Skype, over FaceTime. You take a look at everything that has happened with Bray Wyatt ever since coming back. Bray Wyatt had the entire world in his hand. That wasn't just a fancy fucking song. That wasn't just a fancy fucking song. Bray Wyatt legit had everything going for him ever since he came back. One of the greatest returns of the modern era. That crowd at Extreme Rules fucking exploded. Fucking exploded. And yet you're telling me that everything that we saw going forward with Bray Wyatt, with the pitch black match, and then the fucking Uncle Howdy shit where we got no explanation as to who Uncle Howdy is, and the fact that we got Bobby Lashley being targeted by Bray Wyatt for no fucking reason, and we got the Firefly Funhouse and all the Muscle Man dance shit back. Do the Muscle Man dance. We got that shit back. Yet you're telling me that Bray Wyatt was in full control of it and Bray Wyatt is to blame for that shit? No. That was Vince McMahon right down to the very last letter. How do you know? Watch the fucking show. And once again, I will state, if you think Triple H is in charge, you are a fucking retard. Look at what is going on. Not just with Bray Wyatt. Not just with Bray Wyatt. Look at what's going on across the landscape of WWE. How many 3-minute matches did you see on weekly television when Triple H was in charge? Little to none. All matches on Raw and SmackDown got at least 10 minutes or more. Look at the entire landscape of Monday Night Raw now. We see at least 2 to 3 3-minute matches every fucking week. We see a lot more promos. We see a lot more of these bullshit backstage segments. We see a lot less wrestling. There's no direction on Raw. Trish Stratus is on television consistently, but yet that's supposed to be a Triple H thing. How many times did you see legends on television consistently on Raw and SmackDown? D-Generation X had 5 minutes of a segment on Monday Night Raw, and everyone else on the show got extensive time. during their 25-year anniversary celebration. But yet you're telling me that Triple H is still in charge now? What about Omos? We have seen Omos more so in the last 3 months, more so than we saw him in the last 5 months during the Triple H administration. We saw Omos for merely 3 to 4 weeks during the Triple H administration when they were building towards a match between him and Strowman at Crown Jewel. After that, we didn't see him since. And then Vince McMahon comes back in the beginning of January, and we see him in the Rumble, and we see him going into a feud with Lesnar. Then we see him booked in a match with fucking Seth Rollins at Backlash for no fucking reason. And I'm sure we're going to see him at Money in the Bank too. Omos, Trish Stratus. We see a lot less of Dexter Lumis. We see a lot less of Johnny Gargano. We don't see Tegan Nox anyway. When was the last time we saw Tegan Nox? Shayna Baszler is still tag teaming with Ronda Rousey. We haven't seen Candice LeRae in a meaningful fucking storyline at all. Nikki Cross we never see on television. I mean, what more do you fucking need? What more do you fucking need to show that shows you that Triple H is not in charge? And Bray Wyatt is the cherry on top of the cake. Cherry on top of the cake. Bray Wyatt between October and December was as intriguing, probably the most intriguing thing on WWE television outside of the Bloodline storyline. And Vince McMahon came back and just ruined everything. They're not fond of the pitch black match. Meanwhile, they fucking produced it. Maybe produce a better match next time, you fucking moron. And at this rate, listen, I love Bray Wyatt and I want the best for Bray Wyatt, but at this point, I don't even give a shit if he comes back. I really don't even give a shit if he comes back. I don't. You know what Bray Wyatt needs? I'll tell you exactly what Bray Wyatt needs. He needs to get rid of everything that he's doing right now. Bray Wyatt has been absolutely castrated. Vince McMahon has infiltrated Bray Wyatt's vision and destroyed it yet again. They wanted to bring back The Fiend. Meanwhile, The Fiend has been a character that Bray Wyatt has wanted to do away with. You know what Bray Wyatt needs? Bray Wyatt, under the Eater of Worlds gimmick, had the entire world in his hands. That wasn't just a fancy song. He literally had the whole world in his hands. Why? Great character, great gimmick, great promo, and he was wrestling perfectly. He was putting on bangers under that character. With Roman, with Rollins, with Moxley, with Bryan, with Jericho. We need Bray Wyatt to either come back under the Eater of Worlds gimmick and reunite the Wyatt family with Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman, or he goes to AEW and becomes a new Exalted One of the Dark Order. Outside of that, I don't give a shit about anything that Bray Wyatt does in the world of pro wrestling. I'm sorry. Sorry if that pisses some people off, but Bray Wyatt right now, he has just been, he's legitimately in the same boat as Baron Corbin. And that's sad to fucking think. Really is sad to fucking think. So Bray, combined with the 3-minute matches, combined with the lack of Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis and Candice and Nikki and all these fucking new stars, everything along those lines, the LWO, how many fucking L's has the LWO taken? What about LA Knight? The booking of LA Knight, the booking of Karrion Kross. What more do you need that shows you that Vince is in charge? And if you are not getting it, you may legitimately be the dumbest fuck walking the planet today. And I don't have any respect for you. I'm sorry. It's about time that you open your fucking eyes and understand what the fuck you are watching. Triple H is not in charge. He's not. It is all Vince. Triple H is merely a surface value individual. All he is an individual that stands in front of Vince McMahon, and Vince hides in the shadows while Triple H says, yeah, I'm the one in charge. I'm the chief content officer. When in reality, Vince McMahon is the one pulling the strings. He's the fucking master of puppets. I got a couple more pieces of news before we're going to get into the weekly show reviews. According to Wrestling Observer Radio, AEW has actually gotten very aggressive in locking down Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks to new contracts, as they should. This right here is the perfect opportunity for them to capitalize. Because I said it once, I'll say it again. The outcome of Roman and Cody at WrestleMania will determine whether or not Omega and the Bucks stay with AEW or leave. Cody didn't win. Cody didn't win, and he's been treated like absolute shit coming out of that match against Roman Reigns in this terrible, nonsensical feud with Brock Lesnar. Legit makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I don't even think they know where the fuck they're going with this storyline. It just exists just to exist. And I think Omega and the Bucks are paying very close attention to that. You don't think that they've remained in contact with Cody? You don't think that guys like MJF and Darby and Sammy and Jungle Boy and Wardlow and Omega and the Bucks and Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, you don't think that they're watching? You don't think that they're watching how WWE's treating Cody? Look at what happened coming out of WrestleMania. Cody has been absolutely fucking ruined. And this right here, this is probably the best possible time for AEW to capitalize on that. Talk to Omega, talk to the Bucks, and say, hey, look at what WWE is doing with Cody Rhodes. Look at what WWE is doing with your friend. You want to suffer through that, or do you want to stay with me? And do you want to continue to be in the main event scene, and you want to continue to be the Young Bucks? You want to continue to be Kenny Omega? Because if Omega and the Young Bucks go to WWE, they will be as watered down as ever. They will just be another tag team on the roster. Omega will just be another guy on the roster. If Roman Reigns is still there, he'd be fucking fed to Roman Reigns. Meanwhile, Omega could have easily been the guy to take down Roman Reigns. My last report, and this actually got me a little heated reading this shit. According to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, arenas that have rented both WWE and AEW, they have had clauses put in there by WWE stating that AEW can't run a certain number of weeks before or after a WWE show. The clause also states that AEW and the arena cannot announce the show or sell tickets until after the WWE show has taken place. That's fucked up. That is extremely fucked up. Now, granted, I will say this, it's probably a brilliant fucking strategy. It's brilliant, but it's slimy and it's petty. I understand that people are going to gravitate towards their favorite things. Some people are going to gravitate towards WWE. Some people are going to gravitate towards AEW. But I have been over this petty fucking war. I have been over this petty fucking war for years now. This pettiness between WWE and AEW has legitimately, it's ruined the wrestling industry. It's ruined the community. We all thought that with AEW being introduced to the wrestling industry, WWE was going to get better because competition fuels a company to get better. Meanwhile, they're the worst that they've ever fucking been in terms of a weekly wrestling creative television show. They're the worst they've ever been. 2020, 2021, and 2022, minus Triple H, was fucking terrible for WWE. Shit has gotten worse. They've gotten even more and more lazy. And it seems as though AEW is trying to do everything right by partnering up with people. And that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize now. It's 2023. Competition in pro wrestling, it's not the same anymore. It doesn't work anymore. Back during the 1990s, yeah, it worked. Nowadays, it's all about partnerships. That's why AEW has a great partnership with New Japan. But WWE is allergic to partnerships because they don't play well with others. They have no idea how to share the pie. I understand this is a business at the end of the day, but I don't think people realize that monopolizing the business is not going to favor well. Monopolizing the business is only going to make you more despised. All I want is for the both of these companies and all these other wrestling companies to succeed. All I want is the absolute best possible pro wrestling product. But at the end of the day, these fucking egos with these companies, and I'm including AEW too, because AEW, they've got an ego, but it's an ego that WWE created. WWE created AEW's ego. I really want pro wrestling to thrive, but I mean, holy shit. I'm going to throw this out there. WWE, with what they did here and their deliberate counter programming, and now they're putting clauses in the arenas that they've operated in. Now they're putting clauses in these arenas to say, yeah, AEW cannot promote their shows until a certain amount of weeks after our shows. I want pro wrestling to thrive, but WWE is legitimately giving you more and more and more reasons as to why you should root for them to fail, which they're not going to fail. They're not going to fail at all. I mean, they have established themselves as such a financially stable company to a point where they could legitimately do whatever the fuck they want, and they're going to reap in millions and millions of dollars just for doing nothing. They could have someone go out there and take a shit in the middle of the ring, and they'll get about $200 million, $300 million from Saudi Arabia the next night. But holy shit, man, WWE, they're making it harder and harder and harder for anyone to get behind them. They really are. I really do wish that WWE and AEW would finally put their egos aside. They don't even realize how much money they're leaving on the table by not doing this partnership. They don't even realize how much money can be made with this partnership. I'm not talking about a merge. You shouldn't merge them like Endeavor is merging WWE and UFC. You shouldn't merge them, but at least give them a New Japan-esque partnership. Give them a New Japan-esque partnership to make television a little bit more interesting. Do you realize how big it would be and how many headlines, how much conversation, how much buzz WWE would get if they would swallow their fucking pride, stop being petty sons of bitches, and realize that they're not the only game in town, and they need AEW, they need an Impact, an MLW, and the Indies. They need other wrestling companies to survive, because if WWE monopolizes the industry, that's just going to make them more and more and more disliked. It will. It will make them more and more and more disliked. Do you realize how much money could be made if it was announced that WWE and AEW would be forming a partnership? Do you realize how big it would be? I don't even give a shit what anyone says. It would legit be bigger than WrestleMania if we had a forbidden door with WWE and AEW. Think about the money that could be put into this type of event. They would fucking pack an entire stadium. You could legitimately go to fucking AT&T Stadium and they would have a legit sellout of 100,000 people. They would have a legit sellout of 100,000 people. You would fucking pack that shit to the rafters. Think about the dream matches. Omega versus Roman. Rollins versus a fucking Hangman Page. Young Bucks versus the Usos. Wardlow versus a fucking... Who else is on there? Wardlow versus Gunther. Fucking Sheamus versus a powerhouse Hobbs. What else? Fucking Blackpool Combat Club versus the Judgment Day. Think about the matches that we could get. Jamie Hayter versus Bayley. Chris Statlander versus Becky Lynch. Think about it. Think about it. But no, WWE needs to be fucking petty. So now, when people are going to make fun of AEW and the fact that they're not selling tickets and nothing's selling out, you can blame WWE for that. And by the way, anyone that's going out of their way to argue about ratings and anyone that's going to go out of their way to argue about ticket sales, go the fuck outside. Go outside, go to the gym, lift a fucking 2-pound weight. We all know that many people, they rupture their shoulder lifting a glass of milk. We know a lot of these 600-pound slobs like Gareth and Jobber Nation, they fucking struggle to get out of bed in the morning. Go touch grass. Go touch grass. I'll be touching grass next Saturday when I go outside to have an outdoor event for ISPW. And I'll be recording a vlog and collaborating and mingling with a lot of great wrestling fans. Go fucking touch grass, you fat bastards. I'm sick and fucking tired of this petty war. Competition doesn't do anything for pro wrestling in 2023. It's about partnerships now. I'm fucking done. I really am done. Those are your news, rumors, and reports, ladies and gentlemen. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you tuning into the stream. As per usual, we are about to get right into the Raw review. Thank you to Sarah Hapka. Thank you to Dee Dee. Thank you to Final Horse. Thank you to Hula Grim for stopping by as well. Hula Grim's awesome. Hula Grim's the fucking man. I greatly appreciate him. I might have to get Hula Grim back on because Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor was announced for July, and I think I may need to get Hula Grim on the channel for the rewind for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. It was announced for Friday, July 21st, so I think I'm getting Hula Grim back on the channel towards the end of July. Should be fun. Should be very, very fun. Monday Night Raw. Let's go over these weekly shows. I don't want to say Monday Night Raw was bad, because it really wasn't bad. We did get some decent material on the show. We did get a couple of decent Money in the Bank qualifying matches. We did get a decent main event. It seems as though they're setting up Money in the Bank to be a fairly decent show from the O2 Arena in London. It should be fun. But I'm telling you, man, the energy on Monday Night Raw, it's just not there. Outside of the Bloodline storyline, WWE television legit has zero energy. It has zero energy. It has zero buzz. It has zero wow factor. Rampage this week had more buzz and had more of a wow factor than WWE television. Rampage this week was probably one of the best Rampages that they've ever done. It was Championship Friday. You got a lot of damn good wrestling on Friday, which we will talk about. But Monday Night Raw, again, it wasn't a bad show. It wasn't a bad show, but WWE television, I'm sorry, no fucking energy at all. None. So Seth Rollins kicked off the show. He came out through the crowd, people singing his song. He came in for his title celebration, pyro and streamers everywhere. He goes, Albany, New York, welcome to Monday Night Rollins. I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth freaking Rollins. I think I may have to start going, I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am DJ motherfucking Storms. Although I'd probably get sued by Rollins. So he goes, I am the World Heavyweight Champion, and the crowd chanted, you deserve it. He goes, it just feels right standing here. Let's focus on the future. Monday Night Raw has a champion that is ready to fight, and I will be here every week with the world singing my song, said Rollins. Styles then came out, and he stood face-to-face with Seth. He took a mic, and he said, I know I'm supposed to be on SmackDown, but I couldn't resist coming here to say congratulations. You were here because Vince McMahon decided to put you here, AJ. Breaking the draft rules yet again. Man, some groundbreaking and game-changing draft there, huh? So he goes, they're chanting, you deserve it. I don't think you deserve anything. You earned the right to be World Heavyweight Champion. I like that. I actually like that AJ had a little bit more snap to him, and he said, no, you didn't deserve it. You earned it. I actually like that. I actually am. I'm starting to really get tired of the "you deserve it" chants. You don't deserve anything. You earn what you get. And AJ's right. Rollins earned it. So Rollins goes, after the beating I gave you, I'll tell you what, you earned this. Rollins extended his hand out, and Styles shook it. Judgment Day then came out. Judgment Day came out, and Balor mocked them and said that this is making me want to puke. Rhea said that the Judgment Day runs Monday Night Raw. Priest said Judgment Day runs the entire WWE. Hard to argue with Mr. Priest there. Rhea then promised that Judgment Day will hold the world title. Rollins and Styles laughed at the idea that it could have been Dominic. Dom then promised that the Judgment Day will finish the job. Rollins and Styles then accepted their challenge, and we get ourselves a tag team match in the main event. First of all, why the fuck is AJ on SmackDown when he's supposed to be why the fuck isn't AJ on SmackDown? Why is he on Monday Night Raw when he was a SmackDown drafted superstar? Once again, for the fourth week in a row, breaking your own draft rules. Here's another thing. I'm not saying that this was a bad segment, but why the fuck is the Judgment Day mixing it up with Seth Rollins and AJ Styles? Yes, I understand that Priest and Balor are two potential challengers for Seth Rollins, and those two matches I am very intrigued in seeing. I understand that, but they had nothing to do with Rollins and Styles prior to this segment. They just beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They just beat the undisputed tag team champions. Why are they not going after Sami and Kevin Owens? Why is Sami and Kevin Owens feuding with Imperium? Now, don't get me wrong. Imperium is great. And I think if you give Imperium and KO and Sami some time, they're going to put on one of the best tag team matches of the year. I know. But I mean, holy shit. Does Imperium strike you as being worthy of a title opportunity? Kevin Owens and Sami just beat Imperium twice. He beat them twice. So why are they going after Owens and Zayn after they lost twice and Owens and Zayn put them in their places twice? Meanwhile, Judgment Day is going after Rollins and Styles when they should be going after Owens and Zayn because they beat the tag team champions. What are we doing? How does that make any fucking sense? You have two guys in Balor and Priest who beat the tag team champions, and they're going after the World Heavyweight Champion, and they take a loss in the main event after they just beat the tag team champions. Yet Imperium, they've been fucking losers, minus Gunther. Imperium have been losers, and they're going after Sami and Kevin after they got their asses handed to them twice. Ricochet versus The Miz, Money in the Bank qualifying match. I'm not going to lie to you. The Miz is not doing too bad for himself at all. This is probably the best that The Miz has looked since his program with Bryan Danielson back at the end of 2018. Miz looked great in this match. Based on how he's been treated the last 5 years, this was a great Miz match. Now, overall, it was just a decent match. It was just a solid match that was there. But, holy fuck, man, The Miz, I got to give my props to The Miz. I am not sure what the fuck happened to him. I'm not sure what changed. I'm not sure what he's doing, but keep doing it. Keep fucking doing it. So, Ricochet was in early control with a super kick and a moonsault to the floor on The Miz. Miz then out of nowhere, pulls out a running, flying Hurricane Rana to Ricochet, and he executed it perfectly. And he executed it fucking perfectly. Unbelievable. So Miz then came off the top of the diving axe handle. Coming back from commercial, Mike Mizanin decides, you know what, I'm just going to go balls to the wall here. And The Miz pulls out a picture-perfect springboard crossbody off the top rope for a 2. Fucking beautiful. Miz then had Ricochet in the corner, delivered a code breaker, rolled through into a snap DDT. Ricochet then hit a spin kick, a standing Shiranui, and a beautiful shooting star press, and Ricochet is going to Money in the Bank. Now, The Miz, it's going to take a while for The Miz to really regain some credibility, but he did it with Rollins, he did it with Nakamura, he did it with Ricochet. 3 matches in a row, The Miz is hanging with these top guys. So you know what? Good for The Miz. Good for The Miz. And I hope it continues. I hope he keeps on doing it. Because I'm not even bullshitting you. I've been enjoying watching The Miz. First time in God knows how long I had been enjoying what The Miz has been doing. So you know what? Keep doing it. Keep doing it, Mike Mizanin. You're doing good for yourself. He's not been overexposed. He's not taking up spotlight from superstars that should be in the spotlight. He's going in there, he's wrestling, and he's doing the job for other superstars. Exactly what he should be doing. Because at the end of the day, Miz has had a career. There's no reason for Miz to be going to Money in the Bank. So Ricochet wins. Decent match. Good on The Miz. Trish Stratus came out sarcastic as ever. She says, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I said I was going to beat Becky, and I did it. This is what you do when you're no. This is what you do when you are it. This is what you do when you've been it. The crowd chanted what? Rightfully so. She was terrible. She introduced Zoe Stark. Crowd booed. Zoe wanted to make a statement, and she wanted to learn from the OG herself. She wanted to learn to be smart. And she is so giving, said Zoe Stark. Trish is so giving. She is so humble and kind. Thank you, Trish. Crowd chanted, we want Becky. Becky's music hit. Becky came out. And Becky then challenged Trish to a rematch. Lynch then decked Zoe Stark, hit a flying forearm on Trish. Zoe came in with a forearm to Becky. It was a 2-on-1 assault. Then Zoe Stark hit what is probably my favorite women's move in all of the wrestling industry, minus Io Sky's moonsault. Zoe hit the Z360 on Becky. Trish then came in with a right hand, and the crowd booed, and they gave Becky a thank you, Trish shirt. I love Zoe. I do. I love Zoe, but this shit sucks. Shit sucks. Outside of Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch, this feud is going to be an absolute fucking shit show. Just give me the one-on-one match with Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch and then call it a day. After that, you may as well just forget about this feud. You may as well just forget about it. Indus Sher versus Two Bums. They absolutely destroyed the Two Bums, did Indus Sher. Sidewalk slam, elbow drop. Where are they going? I don't know. It's hard to care. It's a little hard to care. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn came out to address the crowd. Crowd was singing Sami Zayn's theme song. Zayn said he was feeling good. He said, we won, and we did exactly what we set out to do. We watched the bloodline crumble, and Roman, you deserve everything that you got. You will always know that when you look at us, when you look at these faces, we won. Out then came Imperium. Kaiser then praised their victory, but said that Gunther's victory was much more impressive. So Kevin Owens, he was one of the MVPs of this segment. Kevin Owens then said, why are you here? He started to get really, really angry. Kevin Owens was like, why are you here? You got to wait for someone to say your name to come out, and nobody said your name. What are you, a psycho? So Zayn was trying to calm them down. He's like, calm down, Kevin. Zayn then reminded them that they embarrassed Imperium. Kaiser then called Matt Riddle an embarrassment, and he called Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens embarrassing and said that they are not worthy of representing Raw as the tag team champions. So KO then wondered, why does Giovanni Vinci over here never talk? Why does the bald guy never talk? What does he think? So the crowd was chanting, Baldy, Baldy. All of a sudden, all you hear over the PA system, Chad Gable just does one long shoosh. And you just hear him hold that shit for about like 10, 15 seconds. So Chad comes out and the crowd actually popped. So they came out and they said that they're going to teach Imperium a lesson. Owens then goes, hey, can you do the thing that you always do that makes me chuckle? And then Chad Gable goes, oh, thank you. I'm not going to lie to you, and this may come off as a shock, but I actually enjoyed this segment. For some weird reason, if it was anyone else but Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Chad Gable, this segment would have shit the bed. It's because of Kevin and Sami that they made this segment entertaining. Now, again, I have no problem with Imperium. Gunther's great, and a match with Matt Riddle is going to be awesome. Now, Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser, a match with Kevin Owens and Sami for the tag team titles, that's going to be great. That will be great. But why the fuck are they challenging them for the tag team titles after they lost twice? What happened to wins and losses mattering? This is the thing that I don't get. Wins and losses should matter on television. It should be treated like a sport. Sick and tired of this shit. Just illogical shit everywhere. Now, the one thing that I am happy about, I will say this. I love that the Alpha Academy are babyfaces. Alpha Academy being babyfaces is a lot better because what I'm getting, the vibe that I'm getting from them, I don't feel like anyone truthfully wants to boo Chad Gable and Otis because they're very endearing. I don't know why the fuck Maxine Dupree all of a sudden decided to join them and leave the Maximum Male Models. But you know what? They're baby faces. The crowd loves them. I got no problem with them. They could be a great babyface tag team. Chad Gable, he's entertaining. And the fans love Otis. It's a perfect combination for a great babyface team. They're very good heels, but at the end of the day, it doesn't come off like anyone wants to boo them. They want to get behind them. They want to cheer them. They're entertaining. They're funny. So you know what? Maybe them turning babyface was probably the best move for their careers. So we got Alpha Academy versus Imperium. Chad Gable with a double takedown on Imperium. Looked very nice. Valhalla then came out and she ran off Maxine Dupree. So we had double drop kicks in the corner by Imperium. Gable got free. Tagged to Otis. He lit up Imperium. He delivered a caterpillar on Ludwig Kaiser. Vinci saved the match. Tagged to Gable. Vinci sent Otis to the floor. Spinebuster PK combo. And then the Imperial Bomb. The Imperial Bomb and Imperium get the win. 1, 2, 3. And yes, you heard me correctly. Imperium won the match. Imperium won a fucking match. Are we living in an alternate universe? Are we living in the fucking Matrix right now? Imperium actually won a fucking match. Good. Should have been winning matches all fucking year. Should have been winning matches all fucking year. Shotzi and Raquel Rodriguez versus Damage Control versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. This was for the vacated WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. And I'm not going to lie. This match was actually a lot better than I expected. Maybe Ronda Rousey is a lot more tolerable as a tag team wrestler. I expected a complete shit show from this. I really did. But in the end, we actually got a pretty decent women's fatal four-way. This was not bad at all. So Shotzi, she dove through the ropes onto a pile. Coming back from commercial, Raquel ran wild on Baszler. I gotta say, Raquel Rodriguez, she is really grown a lot on the main roster. And I'm very, very happy to see the progression with Raquel Rodriguez. She's doing very, very well. We had a big lariat on Rousey. Rousey sold the shit out of this lariat. Tahana bomb on Baszler. Armbar attempt by Rousey. Bailey with a flying elbow to break it up. And a sliding knee by DeVille. Raquel kicked out. Io then with a double drop kick on DeVille and Green. We had a diving meteor on Raquel. Shotzi saved it. Suicide dive on Bailey. Tagged to Shotzi. Shotzi delivered a little A-Town down. Little tribute to Austin Theory right there. And a tiger suplex for a 2. We had a flapjack by Io. Tagged to Rousey. Big Tower of Doom spot. Shotzi was taken down. Senton by Shotzi. She went for the welcome to the ball pit. And Shotzi was caught in an armbar. And Shotzi tapped out immediately. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler are the new women's tag team champions. A lot better than I expected, I will say that. A lot better than I expected, and every one of those women, they showed up to work, but at the end of the day, it will do nothing. It will do nothing. What we need is for Rousey and Baszler to fight Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and we need these two teams to have a unification match, and then we need to eradicate the women's tag team titles altogether and have 2 singles women's championships like what AEW has with the TBS and the AEW Women's World Championship. That's what we need. That's what we need, and we need it ASAP. Because whatever they're doing now, the shit's not working. Women's tag team titles do not work. We need to eradicate them immediately. Why the fuck is Rousey even still here? Why the fuck is she still here? Why? Dolph Ziggler versus JD McDonough. 90 seconds. 90 seconds. They did not even bother to give these two time to put on a match. But instead, you got to give time to Indus Sher. You got to give time to Cody Rhodes to come out and say the same shit that he's been saying with Brock Lesnar for God knows how long. Whoa! That's all Cody Rhodes is. He's a theme song. He's a fucking meme. Cody is a fucking meme right now. Ziggler, he took a tough bump here. He actually landed right on his head in a very sloppy-looking Devlin side suplex. McDonough sent Ziggler into the steps, and we had a double count out. Ziggler looked like he legit hurt his neck. So I was actually a little fearful. I don't know what happened, but they were only giving 90 seconds, so they had to rush through this fucking segment. I don't know why exactly we couldn't have gotten these guys in a similar matchup in which we got with Bronson Reed and Shinsuke Nakamura. Stupid. I hope Ziggler's okay, though, because that Devlin side suplex on his neck, that did not look good. Captain America, a.k.a. Cody Rhodes, came out. Crowd singing his theme. Whoa! He said, Albany, New York, what do you want to talk about? Can we talk about this program with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes finally ending? I would love to talk about that. I would much rather talk about what my dog shit out in my lawn the other day. That's what I would like to talk about. Anything but Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. I would like to talk about the steak that I'm having for dinner tonight. I hope that it's marinated. I don't know what kind of steak it is. I think it may be T-bone. But as long as it's properly seasoned with the paprika and the fucking garlic salt with the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on the side, grilled medium. Grilled medium. No rare, no super rare, no super well done, just right in the middle. Medium. That's what I want. I want to talk about the steak. I don't give a shit about Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. We still haven't gotten an explanation, and it's been 8 fucking weeks. So Cody said, I did not tap because that's not the man that I want to be. I probably would have tapped years ago. And then he quoted John Cena. Now you're just making it blatantly obvious. He said, never give up. Holy shit. You want to talk about Cringe right down to the very last letter. Now they're just making it too obvious that they're making Cody into a bargain basement John Cena. Lesnar, I have a question from you. Now, you're not here, but are you satisfied with this being done? Consider this an open challenge. I'll post my schedule. I am standing in the ring ready to fight you, Brock. He then ran down Brock Lesnar's accomplishments and he goes, you don't accept my challenge, we can add one more thing to the list of accolades. Brock Lesnar is afraid of Cody Rhodes. I cannot wait for this shit to be over. Now, how do we end this shit? The best way to possibly end this shit, in my eyes, do the match at Money in the Bank. Do the match at Money in the Bank, and if Cody Rhodes can beat Brock Lesnar in a sudden death match, he will get into Money in the Bank, and then he will cash in after he wins Money in the Bank, cash in on Roman at SummerSlam. We can be done with Lesnar, and we can be done with Cody. We can get the title off of Roman and onto Cody, and we can finally get the bloodline to turn on Roman Reigns fully, because we're going to get Jimmy and Roman at Money in the Bank. Roman's going to beat down Jimmy so much that Jay will side with Jimmy, and then all that's left to do is free Solo Sikoa from Roman Reigns' manipulation and brainwashing. And the best way to do that would be in a match with Cody and Roman, where Solo Sikoa finally is the one to deliver the spike to Roman, and goodbye Roman's title reign. That's what we need. Speaking of goodbye, I think that we could be saying goodbye to Bronson Reed very, very soon. Now, we had a match between Bronson Reed and Shinsuke Nakamura. This was a Money in the Bank qualifying match. This was a pretty decent match for what it was, and I'm very, very happy to see that Nakamura is being showcased very, very heavily on Monday Night Raw. And if you ask me, Nakamura should absolutely be a guy that could potentially take the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw and run with it for a little bit. I would love to see that. So Bronson Reed, he came in hot, steamrolled Nakamura with an enziguri. He couldn't do the sliding German because Bronson Reed just weighed too much. Nakamura with the knee strike and a diving knee drop guillotine. Coming back from commercial, Nakamura reversed the lariat into an armbar. Very nice counter. Reed reversed, and he had a big lariat turning Nakamura inside out. That got a 2. Nakamura finally got the sliding German. Reed with a nice Samoan drop and a running senton. Nakamura was down. He got up. Hit a knee right to the gut. Reed then with a super kick. Beautifully done super kick. And then a ripcord power slam. Reed went for the tsunami splash. And Bronson Reed, he did not connect. Nakamura moved. Kinshasa to the back of Reed's head. Kinshasa right to the front of the head, but Reed rolled out to the apron. Nakamura rolled out, and he got a kick in on Reed. Reed was on the outside. Reed beat the count, and Nakamura with a Kinshasa right to the head, and Nakamura pins Bronson Reed 1, 2, 3, and he advances to Money in the Bank. I don't like this call. I don't like this call at all. And it's not because I don't like Shinsuke Nakamura. It's not because I don't like Shinsuke Nakamura. It's because Bronson Reed has actually been protected very, very well. Bronson Reed's been protected very, very well. He has only been pinned twice in his WWE run before this match with Nakamura. The Elimination Chamber was a different story because you had 4 guys doing all of their finishers to Bronson Reed in order to get him out of there. Backlash was different because in the end, Bobby Lashley, he should be able to cut anyone in half with a spear. It was a triple threat match. It was 2-on-1. And then you got this match with Nakamura. This is different. Nakamura is great, but where is he going? Do you really think that this would really have benefited Shinsuke Nakamura? There's only 2 other men that should be winning Money in the Bank. It should be either LA Knight or Cody Rhodes. It's not going to be Nakamura. But Bronson Reed being in this match, this would be a great showcase for Bronson Reed because he would be able to showcase what he can really do. Because he's not just the stereotypical big guy. He can do a hell of a lot more than you think. He was doing shit that we've never seen before back at WrestleMania Backlash in that triple threat match with Theory and Lashley. With Nakamura winning this And Reed losing, he kind of loses a bit of his mystique. No matter how good Nakamura is and no matter how happy I am that they are showcasing Nakamura consistently on television, Bronson Reed should have won this. Now, I don't really want to throw out there and make any assumptions, but I don't know. It is very, very hard for me to say, yeah, this wasn't a Vince McMahon call. It's very, very hard for me to say, yeah, this is something that Vince McMahon wouldn't do. It's very, very hard for me to look at this and think to myself that Vince McMahon is not looking at Bronson Reed and thinking to himself, yeah, I'm going to cut him. I'm going to cut him. Because we got budget cuts coming on July 1st, which is Money in the Bank Day. I don't know, but seeing as Vince never believed in Bronson Reed and released him without any fucking hesitation back in 2021, it would not shock me in the slightest if Bronson Reed is going to be on the budget cut list on July 1st. Vince McMahon never believed in Bronson Reed. He never gave a shit about him. I don't know about you, but I'm throwing it out there. Throwing it out there right now. Vince McMahon could very well be eyeing Bronson Reed to cut him on July 1st. And this may have been step one. Seth Rollins and AJ Styles versus the Judgment Day. This was Finn and Damian. Fun match. Really nothing to go back and rewatch. Rollins got the win with a stomp onto Priest. And that was pretty much that. Are they going to do Rollins and Priest? Are they going to do Rollins and Balor? Are they going to do Rollins and Styles? I don't know. But we got no indication of who Rollins is going to be fighting. Good job. Good job. It wasn't as shit as it has been in recent weeks. But there's just no energy with WWE television. There really isn't. AEW television this week, though, I will say this. San Diego showed up. And San Diego, they were a great fucking crowd this week, both for Dynamite and Rampage. Matter of fact, Rampage and Dynamite had more energy than Double or Nothing. I don't even know how the fuck that's possible, but holy shit. Holy fucking shit. I am telling you right now, people, I'm telling you, whoever's down there in Vegas, you people really need to fucking turn it up a bit. You really need to turn it up a bit because whatever the fuck happened last Sunday, very good show, but that crowd absolutely blew dick. Dynamite felt like more of a pay-per-view because it had the energy of a pay-per-view. Unbelievable. Maybe they should have Double or Nothing in San Diego. So the Blackpool Combat Club, they took on Bandito and the Lucha Bros. And my God, do I love Bandito and the Lucha Bros. They look great. We got some heavy-hitting, hard-hitting chaos right out of the gate. Brawling all around ringside, Bandito then took it to Wheeler Yuta. He had Wheeler Yuta up in a vertical suplex for 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Unbelievable. Claudio then hit a pile driver on Bandito on the floor. Coming back from commercial, Bandito was isolated. Tagged the Phoenix, super kick to Claudio. Spin kick on Yuta. Tagged the Penta, double super kick to Yuta. Sling blade. Cazadora, DDT on Moxley by Penta. Big lariat by Claudio. Bandito then came in with a big stiff drop kick and a very nice looking pop-up cutter. Then we had some big topes on Claudio and Moxley. Beautiful Eddie Guerrero style frog splash on Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta kicked out. Yuta was out of it, and Claudio delivered an uppercut to Bandito, jumping knee by Yuta, big elbow strikes, and then the seatbelt pin by Yuta, and Wheeler Yuta wins the match for the Blackpool Combat Club by pinning Bandito, and I'm very happy that they pinned Bandito because Bandito is not a champion. So it only makes sense. Bandito was not the champion. Awesome match to kick off the show. And if there's one thing that the Blackpool Combat Club is continuing to show you, it's that when they inevitably get to the House of Black, that is going to be perhaps the trios match of the year. It's going to be up there. It will be up there. That's going to be one hell of a fucking match. On top of that, Wheeler Yuta, man. Wheeler Yuta is having one hell of a fucking week. Wheeler Yuta pinned Omega, won the main event of Double or Nothing, and here he wins another match. Telling you, ever since the heel turn of the Blackpool Combat Club, Wheeler Yuta has been a top-tier priority, and I could not be more happy for him. And this goes hand-in-hand with Tony Khan creating new stars. Love to see it. Love to see it. Tony Khan brought it. He brought it on Wednesday. The Dark Order were in the back, and they met up with the Elite. They kind of mocked Matt Jackson. Page then talked to Alex Marvez, and he said that Kenny Omega, he's not here, but he is not in Canada. Where is he? I don't know. I'd say he's probably in Japan talking to a one of his Golden Star. Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone interviewed Bullet Club Gold. This is Jay White and Juice Robinson. White said that Double or Nothing was an amazing night. Ricky felt on top of the world, but let me remind you that he's not the international champion. He lost, just like he lost to me. Juice then said, FTR, why did you come to the aid of Pretty Ricky? We all know Ricky Starks ain't got no friends. White then says, FTR, they seem a bit slow and they look pretty dumb and they even sound pretty dumb. FTR then came out and we had Jay White and Juice Robinson saying, well, hold on. Relax. We are professionals. We're going to keep it cordial. I know FTR wants to join Bullet Club Gold. Juice then punched Dax and we get a brawl. We had a Blade Runner on Cash and Starks then came out with a chair. Ricky then challenged White to a match next week with everyone banned from ringside. Now, with Juice and FTR banned from ringside, I don't know about you, but I think that we could very well be getting a new member of Bullet Club Gold. I'm not sure who, but Tama Tonga, he's been working without a New Japan Pro Wrestling contract. I think Tama Tonga could make his way to AEW, and Tama Tonga could join Bullet Club Gold. Maybe we see El Phantasmo. El Phantasmo, I heard his New Japan Pro Wrestling contract's up as well. If El Phantasmo shows up, those right there are two big names that would fit very good in Bullet Club Gold with Jay White leading the charge. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But either way, with Starks fighting Jay White next week, that's going to be a banger, number one. And number two, if we're getting Bullet Club Gold versus FTR at Forbidden Door, I mean, you could take all my fucking money. You could take all my fucking money right there. I got no problem with that. Matter of fact, that's a great feud for FTR before we get to Wembley and we get FTR versus the Bucks Part 3. Tony Khan, he announced that AEW Collision will feature CM Punk. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. CM Punk, he got a pretty device reaction. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but CM Punk, he's on Collision, and if he's feuding with Samoa Joe, I see Samoa Joe inevitably being the man that is going to drop the title to Mark Briscoe, and he and Punk are going to have one hell of a program going into All In and All Out. Trent Beretta versus Big Bill versus Swerve Strickland. It's a fun little match, actually. Very good match. Very good stuff between these three individuals. Trent with a suicide dive onto Swerve. Big Bill came in with a flapjack and a big boot to Trent Beretta. Coming back from commercial, Beretta regained control, moonsault onto Big Bill. Swerve then came in with a kick. Beretta and Swerve then worked over Big Bill together with a double superplex. Half and half on Swerve. Boss man slam by Big Bill. Swerve then with a house call kick. Bill kicked out. We had the sexy Chucky knee strike by Trent. Stuff pile driver. Big Bill saved it. Big Bill choke slammed Trent into the ring. Swerve then came up off the top with a Swerve stomp onto Big Bill on the apron, which looked great. Big Bill was out, and then Swerve rolled up Trent for the win. A very good match, and we got ourselves the right outcome, and we're getting Swerve versus Orange Cassidy next week for the International Championship. And you know what? I got no issue with that. I got no issue with that whatsoever. Matter of fact, listen, I've been calling Miro to beat Orange Cassidy, but I would not bat an eye one bit if Swerve was the guy to take the title off Orange Cassidy. Swerve, let me tell you something, man. Swerve, he's doing some really good shit right now. And if Swerve wins, if Swerve is the one to beat him, no complaints whatsoever. I'm a Swerve guy. I like some Swerve. Swerve when I drive. Renee Paquette, she interviewed Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed. Daddy Ass then expressed his disappointment for letting the Acclaimed down. Caster then said, do not blame yourself, because at the end of the day, losses are part of the game. Bowens then said they want gold back, and this legend deserves one last title run before he hangs it up, for giving it his all to the fans, because everyone loves the Acclaimed. So it looks like they could be building towards one more match with the House of Black, which I would not be opposed to. I think that would be a fun match going into Collision, if they want to do it there. Or maybe, now I'm not sure if they're going to do this, but the Mogul Embassy don't really have any opponents going into Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. So if you're looking for a trio to take the titles off of the Embassy, I mean, you want to put the Acclaimed and you want to put Daddy Ass down in Ring of Honor. I would not mind seeing that match at Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass winning. I wouldn't mind it. Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions, because House of Black shouldn't be losing. House of Black should not be losing those championships until we get to the Blackpool Combat Club. So if you want to give them championships, you can easily give Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed the Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team championships, and then they could run the Ring of Honor Trios division for a little bit. That would make sense. The Embassy's had a decent reign. They've held it since December, so you want to take it off them? You could easily give it to Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed. It's gold. It's championships. Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita were interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and the heat was fucking magnetic. It was just such a hot, sizzling heat that was just pouring all over Don Callis. The crowd was raining down boos on him. Callis was talking about how he was the real victim. Crowd was chanting asshole at him. And he goes, I gave everything to Omega and he chose his friends. He destroyed my family. Maybe I lost a nephew, but I gained a son. So the boos just got louder and louder. You couldn't even hear him speak. He praised Takeshita. He said that he's better than Okada and better than Omega. Takeshita then said, we will destroy the Elite and we will destroy Kenny Omega. Callis then ended it by saying, we will cut the Elite out of all Elite wrestling. And my God, are we going to get one hell of a fucking blood and guts match? This is going to be fun as shit. I would do it in July. That's just me. Gates of Agony versus Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. This was another fun match. And Toa Leona and Bishop Khan, they looked fucking great here. I am fucking loving the Gates of Agony. I love the Embassy. Really, really, really good stuff. And I'm telling you, man, you keep on giving me stuff like that, I'm going to praise it. And I'm going to praise it left and right, up and down, because I love seeing new stars come up and make names for themselves. And the Gates of Agony looked great here against Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. So Darby was selling his ass off for Toa Leona. Leona, he fucking decked Darby Allin. Absolutely fucking decked him. Darby was bounced all over the barricade in the apron. Coming back from commercial, Darby fought back. We had a tag to Orange Cassidy. Satellite DDT on Bishop Khan for a 2. Samoan drop by Leona. Darby saved the match. Tag back to Darby. Splashes in the corner. Orange punch to Leona. And we had a suicide dive by Darby. Stun Dog Millionaire, Code Red. It was just sequence after sequence after sequence. Awesome fucking shit. And after the code red, suicide dive by Orange Cassidy onto Leona, we had the coffin drop, which is one of my favorite moves in wrestling today. Coffin drop on Bishop Khan, and Darby and Cassidy get the win. Cage and Swerve then came down to the ring before Sting. Sting came out and helped Cassidy and Darby fend off the Mogul Embassy. Not really sure what that means, but with Sting back, I can definitely see Sting potentially being the guy that fights Darby at All In, and that will be Sting's retirement match. I don't really understand why it wouldn't be. It would make more sense than anything. It would make more sense than anything. If Darby's the one to retire Sting, I mean, holy shit. That is pretty much equivalent to winning a championship for Darby Allin. Tony Schiavone interrupted by Hook. He asked what was next for Hook, but he was interrupted by Jose the Assistant, Preston Vance, and Dralistico. They were surrounding Hook, and it was going to be a 3-on-1 beatdown before Jungle Boy came out with a steel chair, and he helped Hook fend off La Facción Ingobernables. So Jungle Hook will be back next week in a tornado match, a Texas tornado match against La Facción Ingobernables. That's going to be fun. That should be fun. But if I was to tell you what was the weakest thing about the show, this was probably the weakest part about the show. Not even lying. It just kind of felt off. It kind of felt like everything was flowing very nicely. But this segment, if I was to pick out a negative, this segment really felt out of place. I'm happy that Jungle Hook's back together. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. But it just kind of didn't really feel like it was needed on the show. The Outcasts were interviewed by Renee. Really nothing more than a hype-up interview. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Toni Storm, but Toni Storm, she has a wide variety of challengers going into Forbidden Door, and if you ask me, I would actually love to see Miyu Yamashita, who is very good at what she does. If you want to bring her in to fight Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship, I mean, I got no issue with that. Whatsoever. I think that would be fucking awesome. You want to give me that? Give me that. Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander, TBS Championship. And I'm telling you, it's almost like as soon as Chris Statlander won the TBS Championship, the entire vibe surrounding the TBS Championship, it just shifted. It really just shifted. This was a very good match for what it was. And Nyla and Chris Statlander, they actually worked very well together. I don't know what it is, but normally they don't. And they kind of had bad chemistry in the past. But this match, it really felt different. The moves were crisp. The moves were solid. Everything was smooth and flowing. There were no botches. This was a very good match for what it was. And the TBS Championship, it looks 1,000 times better on Statlander than it does on Jade. So we had a nice shotgun dropkick by Statlander. Nyla then suplexed Statlander into the corner. Coming back from commercial, Nyla with a nasty lariat on Statlander for a 2. Discus lariat by Statlander, and she mounted a comeback with a big knee to Nyla. Blue Thunder Bomb connects. Nyla kicked out. Nyla then with a cannonball off the apron to the floor. Very nicely done. Cannonball against the barricade by Nyla to Chris Statlander. Chokeslam in the ring. Chris Statlander kick out. Statlander then with a jawbreaker. Nyla was down. Statlander with a beautiful 450. Statlander easily has one of the best 450s in the business right now. Absolutely fucking beautiful. 450 splash connects, and Statlander retains the TBS Championship in a very, very good match for what it was. Really, really, really solid stuff here by these two individuals. And Chris Statlander, she has a great start. Great start to her reign. I'll tell you what else was great. This mixed tag team match in the main event. Matter of fact, it actually felt like this match should have been on the pay-per-view. It actually feels like this match should have been on the pay-per-view, and the unsanctioned match should have been saved for after the pay-per-view. Who the fuck would have guessed? So Adam Cole and Britt Baker took on Chris Jericho and Saraya, and everyone looked great here. Jericho and Cole had a chop off, tagged to Saraya, tagged to Baker. They mixed it up a bit. Coming back from commercial, Baker was isolated before the Outcast attacked Baker behind the ref's back. Tagged to Cole. He went after Jericho. Enziguri by Cole. Jericho with a back elbow and a lion salt for a 2. Baker came in, took it to Saraya. Saraya had Baker up top. Saraya was then sent to the floor. Jericho protected Saraya, and Baker came off the top with a splash onto both of them. She pinned Saraya for a 2. Tagged to Cole. Jericho with the walls locked in. It was locked in deep. Saraya was out, and Baker locked in a lockjaw on Jericho, which was awesome, actually. Saraya saved it. Cole caught a code breaker. Cole kicked out. Double lariat by Cole and Jericho. In came the ladies. They went at it. Saraya with the cradle DDT, spiking Britt Baker right on her head, but Baker kicked out. Jericho then came in with the bat. Baker and Cole with double super kicks to Jericho. Tag to Cole. The boom connects. Boom connects on Jericho. And Adam Cole beats Chris Jericho. And it looks like Adam Cole could be moving on. And if anything, listen, I don't really see any other individual to be fighting MJF going forward other than Adam Cole right now. Now, I actually think it's a little bit too early for that. But look, Adam Cole and MJF would be one hell of a fucking program. I think that would be awesome. But this was a great mixed tag team match. Probably one of the best mixed tag team matches since Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania. This was very, very good. Telling you, man, Dynamite, they brought the energy. San Diego brought the energy. They realized they needed to bring the energy after Las Vegas shit the bed. Great episode of Dynamite. And Rampage followed suit. Rampage was a very good show. This was probably the best Rampage of the year thus far. It was AEW Rampage Championship Friday, and we will get into it in just a little bit. I just want to thank each and every single one of you. Thank you very much to Sarah, to Dylan, to Final Hoss, to Hoolagrim, to Dee Dee, to everyone for watching the stream. You guys are fucking awesome, and you guys make being DJ Storms worthwhile. You guys make being DJ Storms that much more fun, and it is amazing to see the amount of support coming from everyone here. We are going to go over Rampage, and then we are getting on out of here. We got Rampage starting off with Elio Del Vikingo, who I have been loving as of lately. Absolutely loving as of lately. Elio Del Vikingo versus Dralistico versus Commander for the AAA Mega Championship. Now, let me tell you something. Elio Del Vikingo is getting a lot of showcase on Dynamite and Rampage as we speak. I'm not sure what this means, but I'm glad that Tony Khan has a very strong relationship with AAA, and I really do hope that once Elio Del Vikingo's contract is up with AAA, I would love to see him on AEW television. That would be fucking great if we get that. That would be awesome. So this was a great match, actually. It only went 11 minutes, but it was a hell of a match to kick off AEW Rampage Championship Friday. So Dralistico took over quickly with a big tope onto two men. We had some chops being delivered on Commander. Diving double stomp by Dralistico. Vikingo then with a huge moonsault. A huge moonsault, taking out, I believe it was both men. I don't think it was just one man. I think it was both men. So we had an inside-out Phoenix Splash. Commander saved it. Dralistico with a springboard code breaker for a 2. Coming back from commercial, Commander with a springboard Hurricane Rana, tightrope, huge twisting plancha onto Vikingo and Dralistico. Crowd chanting, "This is awesome." We had a rope walk 450 splash on Dralistico. Vikingo with a double stomp to save it. Vikingo then with a twisting Poison Rana. Absolutely fucking nuts. I don't know how the fuck this guy does it. Dralistico was out of the ring. There was a table set up outside of the ring, and we had Commander on the table and Vikingo with a beautiful springboard 630 senton over the top rope onto the table, crushing Commander through it. Dralistico was in the ring, and Dralistico went for the win, and Vikingo rolled up Dralistico to win the match. 1, 2, 3. Very good match between these three luchadors, and it didn't really go all too long, but it was one hell of a match for what it was. More of this shit, please. More of this shit, please. This is the shit that's going to make Rampage a hell of a lot better, and Vikingo absolutely should be signed by Tony Khan. That would be a huge win for Tony Khan and AEW. Vikingo retains. Action Andretti versus Zack Sabre Jr. This was for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. And listen. Zack Sabre Jr. is really not my cup of tea, but in recent weeks, they have really been pairing him with the right talent, and he has really been putting on some solid, and I mean some solid fucking matches as of lately. And I think that if you put him with guys like an Action Andretti and guys like an AR Fox, the more that you put these technical guys, and that's the best type of match. You put a technical guy with a high flyer, you're going to get a very, very, very good match. And that's exactly what we got here. Action Andretti, listen, you could think whatever you want about Action Andretti, but he is one hell of a professional wrestler. 3 years in the business. 3 years in the business, and he's this good. So we had a very technical start. Andretti then came in with a very nice springboard twisting splash for a 2. We had a big suicide dive as well. Zack Sabre Jr. then worked on the arm of Action Andretti. He snapped it back, which looked brutal. Andretti, he mounted a comeback with a springboard enziguri. Sabre then with a Pele kick to the arm. Andretti then came in with a Hurricane Rana from the middle rope for a 2. Andretti then reversed a sleeper into a roll-up. We had a roundhouse kick by Zack Sabre Jr., a super kick, and a Poison Rana by Andretti. Shotgun drop kick, split-legged moonsault. Sabre kicked out. Zack Sabre Jr. then caught Andretti into a Fujiwara armbar, and then he locked in a double Fujiwara armbar, and Andretti had to submit. This was probably, if I was to tell you what was the best match of the night, I think that it was Zack Sabre Jr. and Action Andretti that was the best match out of the night. Now, I'm not sure what this entails, but Zack Sabre Jr. being on AEW television, it tells me that they got something big planned for him at Forbidden Door. Maybe we do get Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. And if that's the case, I would have no issue with that. That would be fucking great. Canada's going to love that shit. Very good match. Very good match. And if you pair Zack Sabre Jr. with the high-flying guys, he's going to give you an exciting match. Although his style isn't particularly too exciting to me. But it was a very good match. So those two, clearly the top 2 best matches of the night. Emi Sakura, she took on Willow Nightingale. This was for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship. Now, this was a decent match, but this wasn't put on the show for quality purposes. It wasn't bad, but there's an underlying message behind Willow Nightingale defending the title against Emi Sakura. So Willow, she was in control early with a snap suplex. One thing I will say is this. Emi Sakura, she was terrible a couple years ago, but recently she's had this character change. She's actually been turning it up a bit. She's been wrestling pretty fucking good as of lately. She's been putting on some solid fucking matches, which I appreciate. So Emi came in with a body block, sending Willow to the floor. We had a crossbody against the barricade. Coming back from commercial, Willow mounted a comeback with a missile dropkick from the middle rope. Emi with a reverse crossroads. Emmy then with a crossbody in the corner and a very nice twisting Vader bomb for a 2. Willow then with a low crossbody for a 2. Willow was then caught with a lariat by Emmy. Willow then with the pounce and the cannonball, another lariat, and a very nice doctor bomb. And if you guys notice, Willow, one thing I love about Willow is that Willow's got a little extra snap on her moves. She's got a little extra oomph on her moves. And Willow, she had a little extra snap on that power bomb. That looked fucking very, very nice. It's like the impact of that power bomb, it felt like it was a power bomb that could legit put down anyone. It looked nice. It looked very, very nice. So Willow retains a decent match. But if you ask me, the underlying message behind this match was kind of a persuasion by Tony Khan. He's like, yeah, I got Willow Nightingale with the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Championship right here. Mercedes, come on over to AEW. I don't know if you've been paying attention, man, but I think that Tony Khan is throwing out some nice persuasion for Mercedes Moné to join AEW. I'm not sure how long this recovery period is going to take, but I mean, Wembley Stadium, it's going to come up quicker than we expect. It's right around the corner. So if you ask me, I would love me some Mercedes Moné at Wembley Stadium. Dynamite, looking like a solid show. We got MJF on Dynamite. He's making an appearance. We got Jungle Hook versus LFI in a Texas Tornado match. We got Ricky Starks and Jay White with FTR and Juice Robinson banned from ringside. Tama Tonga or El Phantasmo was coming on in. And then we got Orange Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW International Championship. We also got an announcement. Ring of Honor. Death Before Dishonor is taking place on Friday, July 21st in Trenton, New Jersey. And I'm very, very pissed because I will be at a bachelor party for my cousin. Now, he is family. I love him. He's awesome. And I could not be more happier for him and his fiancée, soon-to-be wife. The bachelor party is taking place that weekend. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to go to that. I wish I could, but I will not be going to that. But I'll tell you the real reason why I don't like this. I don't like this because with Supercard of Honor was a different story. Supercard of Honor was put on a Friday because WWE had fucking WrestleMania and Stand and Deliver on a Saturday. I realize that Collision is now going to be on Saturdays, but if we're going to do Ring of Honor, I would much rather have preferred it to be on Sunday, July 23rd. I would have much rather preferred it to be then rather than for it to be on a Friday. Now, I don't really want to make assumptions, but I really do hope that AEW is not falling into that petty trap because WWE's fucking petty. WWE's fucking petty with putting out deals with arenas with clauses that state that AEW cannot promote the show until X amount of weeks before or after the WWE show, or AEW is hosting a pay-per-view and NXT BattleGround is being placed on the same night to counter-program Double or Nothing. I don't want AEW to fall into that trap of being petty because pettiness turns people off. WWE is fucking petty. AEW has never deliberately gone out of their way to put a show on another night that the WWE is doing the show on and have the show try and counter-program whatever show WWE is doing. AEW has never put out a pay-per-view to deliberately program a Raw, a SmackDown, an NXT event, or anything of that nature. So I really do hope that Ring of Honor is not going to be used as the pettiness, the petty shot towards WWE. Hey, we're going to host a pay-per-view on the same fucking night as Friday Night SmackDown. I really do hope that Tony Khan is not going to fall into that trap because that shit turns people off. It's already turning people off to WWE. We do not want it to turn people off towards Tony Khan and his product. Because I know that Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor is going to be a great fucking show. New Jersey is going to bring the energy. And I really do hope that my state is going to do me proud. Although, fucking Governor Murphy's a piece of shit. Fuck liberals. Fuck all this liberal shit. Fuck Pride Month, too. But at the end of the day, I really hope Tony Khan does not fall into the pay trap. Now, speaking of Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, Katsuyori Shibata, he fought Lee Moriarty for the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship, and I don't want to say this was bad. It wasn't bad, but in the end, it was a throwaway match. This was a throwaway match. Shibata retains with the PK, as he should. The main thing that happened here is what happened after the match. After the match was over, Daniel Garcia came out, and he stared down Shibata. If you guys remember, Daniel Garcia lost the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship to Wheeler Yuta all the way back in September at Final Battle. So if we're going to get Daniel Garcia versus Katsuyori Shibata for the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship at Death Before Dishonor, I will not have a single issue with that. I think that's going to be a great fucking match. I think that's going to be one hell of a performance by both men. The question is, what exactly is going to happen? Are they going to give it back to Daniel Garcia? I don't know. I don't really know. Is Shibata going to hold that championship going forward? Potentially. How are they going to get the title off Shibata? I mean, if there's one guy to do it, I would love to see Daniel Garcia do it. Daniel Garcia becoming the second ever two-time Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Champion. I think that would be a very nice accolade for him. But that's the match that it seems like they're building towards. So I would not mind that. That would be a great match for Shibata and Daniel Garcia. That would work out very, very nicely. But again, main event, it was a throwaway match. Ultimately, it was to set up Daniel Garcia and Katsuyori Shibata, and that is the match that I do believe will be happening at Death Before Dishonor, which should be fun. Very good episode of Rampage. Probably the best episode of Rampage all year. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. You guys have been fucking awesome. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into the stream. Thank you to the Shooter. Thank you to Dee. Thank you to Sarah Hapka. Thank you to Hoolgrim and Dylan and Peanuts. You guys are phenomenal. As of course, like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. Be ready because next Wednesday, I will have my vlog video from ISPW Brawl for the Bulldogs up for you guys at 7. And of course, I will be doing the Lightning Flash Update next week. And considering we got the Total A Day show, with ISPW. That's going to be at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. I may do the LFU an hour earlier. I may do that at 12 as opposed to 1 p.m. just so that way we have plenty of time to get everything ready. That way I can work out afterwards, and I will have some time to go to the show next week. But you guys have been great. I greatly appreciate you. We got plenty of good content coming to you guys towards the end of the month, including Rundown for Forbidden Door, Rewind for Forbidden Door, Rundown for Money in the Bank, Rewind for Money in the Bank. Plenty more. Lots of good shit, man. Lots of good shit. But till next time, ladies and gentlemen, check out all the links in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. My name is DJ Storms, and this has been the Lightning Flash Update. But before we get out of here, people, it is very, very vital that everyone answers this question. Ladies and gentlemen, who runs the IWC? Who runs it? I'll tell ya who runs it. Who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you forget it.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh, yeah, we ran out of patience. Boy, you're left with the